Welcome to The Explainer. We're jumping right into the explosive opening chapters of Onyx Storm, which, let's be honest, one of the biggest fantasy releases of the year. We got to look at the beginning, and we are breaking it all down. So let's get into it.
The story just throws us headfirst into the chaos with this one single, terrifying line. It's a realization that completely flips the script for our characters, and really, it sets the stage for everything to come.
All right, so let's start with the immediate crisis. Bosgiath War College, the most heavily fortified, magically protected place on the entire continent, has been breached. The wards, the things that have kept it safe for centuries, they've failed. And what's so wild about this is where it happens. This isn't an attack on the front gates. Nope. It's inside the infirmary, the one place that's supposed to be a sanctuary. The enemy has literally turned their hospital into a hunting ground. And this is the moment it all becomes chillingly real. A single survivor stumbles out, and he doesn't have a sword wound. He has this gray, withered handprint burned onto his neck. That is the calling card of a venin, a soul-sucking monster. They're not at the gates anymore. They are literally walking the halls.
But to really, truly understand how bad the situation is, we have to rewind about 2 weeks before this attack. Because the biggest threat isn't just the assassins in the infirmary, it's a secret that one of their own is keeping.
The whole story really hinges on these two. You've got Violet Sorngale, who wields lightning and rides not one, but two incredibly powerful dragons. And then you have Exodin Rearson, the strongest rider of his generation, a guy who can control shadows, and the man she would do absolutely anything for.
So who's the enemy? The venin. The easiest way to think of them is like magic vampires, but instead of blood, they drain the life force right out of the earth itself. The trade-off for all that power? They lose their souls, and you can see it happening as red rings start to creep into their eyes.
And here it is. This is the terrible secret. In a final desperate battle to save Violet's life, Exodin did the one thing you're never supposed to do. He pulled power directly from the earth. He essentially became a venin to defeat their general. He won that battle, but now he's fighting a war for his own soul.
This just perfectly lays out the impossible situation Violet is in. She's got assassins walking the halls, an external threat. And at the exact same time, the man she loves, who happens to be their most powerful weapon, is secretly turning into the very monster they're all fighting. It's a war on two fronts.
So what's her reaction when she finds out? Well, the law is simple. If anyone finds out what Exodin did, he'll be executed on the spot. Faced with that, Violet makes a vow. It's simple, it's powerful. I will not lose him. She's going to save him, and she doesn't care what laws she has to break to do it.
Right when things seem completely hopeless, a clue appears, a little glimmer of hope for a cure, and it comes from her youngest and by far most mysterious dragon. Okay, so we have to talk about Ardana. She is not like the other dragons. The blacks, the greens, the browns. Her scales can change color, and nobody knew why. It turns out she's the last of a seventh, totally unrecorded breed of dragon, and her existence, it changes everything.
During that massive battle, Ardana did something that nobody has ever seen before. Her fire actually incinerated a venin. Now you have to understand, normal dragon fire can't do that. So this one act, it sparks a desperate, crazy hope. If Ardana's magic is different, then maybe her species knows something about the venin, maybe even a cure.
So this becomes her mission, her entire focus. It's this insane 4-part quest. First, she has to hide what's happening to Hayden from literally everyone. Second, she needs to find a mythical group of dragons that might not even exist. Third, uncover a cure. And fourth, be willing to commit actual treason to get it all done. The whole story is built on this desperate plan.
Now let's just zoom out for a second, because this intensely personal crisis is all happening inside a political powder keg that's ready to blow. So here's a look at the continent. For centuries, the Kingdom of Navarre, where our story is, and the neighboring Kingdom of Poromil have been enemies, like bloody generational war enemies. And now they're trying to broker a peace. But well, old hatreds die really, really hard. So what this all means is that while Violet is trying to save Hayden, the entire world around them is just crumbling. The peace talks are a mess, the people in charge are totally in denial about the venin threat, and the dragon riders themselves, they're basically on the edge of a civil war, split between loyalties. It's chaos.
Okay, let's jump back to the present day. We're right in the middle of that attack inside Bosgiath, and the action has now moved down into the dungeons.
Violet suddenly realizes the attack on the infirmary wasn't the main goal. It was a diversion. The real target is the dungeon. The venin aren't there to destroy the fortress.
They're on a rescue mission. They're there to break out their captured general, the incredibly powerful and sadistic Jack Barlow.
The fight is brutal. I mean, these Venons are super fast, super strong. Just when it looks like Violet and her friends are about to be completely overwhelmed, boom, the shadows in the room just erupt. Xaden is there, and in this terrifyingly efficient display of power, he just ends the threat.
But his epic rescue raises a massive question. Xaden has had his mental shields on complete lockdown, so that nobody can sense the venom inside him. So how in the world did he know Violet was in mortal danger?
And his answer is, without a doubt, the most chilling line of the entire opening. He didn't sense her danger. He looks at her and says, I felt them, the same way they can feel me, because I am one of them. This isn't just a physical change anymore. It's a deep, fundamental connection to the enemy.
And that leaves us with the real question that's going to drive this whole story, right? It's not just about finding a cure. It's about this. When the person you love most in the world starts becoming the monster, can you actually save them without losing yourself in the process? That's the storm they have to face,